My advice to Muslims, if somebody asks you those questions, you ask him to tell you the story of the prodigal son. Everybody knows the story in the Bible. You say, the story of the prodigal son, the young man who told his father, give me the money that I would get when you die. I want it now. And then he ran away and he spent it on terrible things. Ask him to tell you that story and tell you what is the lesson of that story. Because the lesson of that story involves the complaint of the other brother in the family, the good son. When the evil son came back and repented, the father welcomed him. And the good son complained. He said, I've never done anything wrong. And yet look how you treat my brother, who was so bad. And his father told him how wrong an attitude that was. He said, your brother was dead, now he's alive. You see, the perfect man does not have any preference over the sinless man or the repentant sinner in Christianity. Make the missionary tell you the story of the lost sheep. Jesus said, Matthew chapter 18, verse 12, it starts. Jesus said, what do you think if a man has 100 sheep and one of them has gone astray? Does he not leave the 99 on the hills and go in search of the one that went astray? And if he finds it, truly I say to you, he rejoices over it more than over the 99 that never went astray. Jesus was trying to hammer that point home to his disciples, saying, don't you dare say because, for example, you've been a faithful follower for many years, that you're better than this one who just became a believer yesterday. The perfect man has no precedence over the repentant sinner. In fact, this whole argument would not exist if both Muslims and Christians were better aware of the meaning of the word sin, but that's another story and we don't have time for. To illustrate again, the missionary says to the Muslim, was Jesus the Messiah? And the Muslim says, yes. And the missionary says, was Muhammad the Messiah? The Muslim says no. There he stops again, hoping the Muslim will go away and think, now wait a minute, Jesus is Messiah, but Muhammad isn't. Maybe Jesus is better. Well, what you want to ask the missionary is about this word Messiah. Ask him, Jesus was the Messiah, but were there any other Messiahs besides Jesus? Now you find out how well he knows his Bible, because there were many. David, Solomon, even Cyrus the Persian were called Messiah. It's hard to find that in the Bible because the translators cover it over. They translate the word. Messiah means anointed, somebody picked to do a job. Somebody singled out and said, you are the one. Every king of ancient Israel was called Messiah. Now the name doesn't look quite so special anymore. It is a title, but it does not particularly elevate to some divine status. I'm trying to show you that the arguments are not good enough that are being used and I see in print all the time. The missionary asks the Muslim, where's the body of Jesus? And the Muslim says, God took it. And the missionary says, where's the body of Muhammad? And the Muslim says, it's in Medina, in the ground. The missionary stops, hoping the Muslim will go away and think, now that's interesting. The body of Jesus is gone, Muhammad is in the grave. Maybe Jesus is the true messenger, Muhammad is false. He's hoping you'll think that, but he dare not say it. Because what you want to ask the missionary, is that what you mean to say? Do you mean that a dead and buried prophet is a false prophet? Is that what you mean? Make him finish it. Because if that's what he means, what does he say about Abraham, for example? Or in Arabic they say Ibrahim. Jews and Muslims till now still go to the place where he's buried to visit his grave. Is he a false prophet because he's dead and in the ground? For that matter, where is the body of Moses? The Bible says God took it. He sent an angel to take the body away. What does it prove? What disturbs me most, I guess, because even now we're seeing finally a turnaround in the Pentecostal churches where for years the Pentecostal insisted you are saved not by works but by your faith. Pentecostal church is starting to finally put the two together. No, it's faith and works side by side. What the missionary has always accused the Muslim of is to say, you people believed you're saved by works alone. And they quote the Quran. In the 32nd chapter of the Quran, the 19th verse, or ayah, it says, if you'll excuse my terrible Arabic, أَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا صَالِحَاتٍ فَلَهُمْ جَنَّةُ الْمَأْوَىٰ نُزُلًا بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, which means, and for those who believe and do good works, for them gardens, a refuge and entertainment for what they used to do. They quote this verse saying, you see, Muslims believe they're saved by works alone. Somehow, the word is there in print, they don't see it. It says, amanu wa amilu salihat. Amanu, they believe, wa amilu salihat, and they do good works. They believe and they do good works. The two are together. You see, in the Arabic language, the word only has to change a little bit, and it becomes a different part of speech. Amanu means they believe. Iman, made from the same letters, means what you believe, your belief, your faith. What this verse is saying is you've got to have faith and works side by side. Not one, not the other, but both. Which is exactly what is found in the Bible, in the little book of James, especially the 2nd chapter of the little book of James. Now, the Protestant reformers at first didn't like James very much. Martin Luther said it was an epistle of straw. Blow it away. Didn't like it. In the 2nd chapter of James, he makes the point several times, particularly in the 26th verse. He says to the Christian community, for as the body apart from the spirit is dead, so faith apart from works is dead. It's not faith or works, it's faith and works together. That's what the Muslim believes, that's what the book of James says. Don't tell the Muslim he believes he's saved by works alone. He doesn't believe it. And he only thinks you're foolish because you think that's what it says in the Quran when you quote it to him.